Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday number 95. What is a cult? Question. My son is watching a lot of conspiracy theories, and it seems like something has gotten into him. He speaks about these unnamed power people out to ruin us. He speaks with confidence about certain social topics. He seems driven to make a change. I'm concerned that he has joined a cult and he's getting brainwashed. Should I be concerned? Okay. What is a cult? Remember that that a cult in its most neutral form is just simply within our society, there's one or two people who come up with it's sort of like we are whole beings and we want to know all of ourselves. And if our society is sort of holding back some knowledge, or if it's emphasizing one way and not another, then what we call subcultures start to emerge, because something is heavily suppressed, and so our whole being wants to find out the wholeness of ourselves. So you or your son or anybody who is looking for fulfillment will always be interested in something a little bit different than the mainstream. So it's a very natural thing to be interested in cults. There are a lot of healthy cults in our society, and it's any kind of education that you're not learning about. So a cult is not a bad thing in essence. It's just a natural springing up of new knowledge, or knowledge that hasn't been allowed in our society. So it comes up. So are cults bad? Are cults good? Well, let's look at this. Like, what is a damaging cult and what is a healthy cult? Like, for instance, like there are cult leaders too. So if you were to look at it realistically, Jesus was a cult leader. And then it turned into something amazing. But on another level, some people were highly damaged later on in years, not necessarily with Jesus, but, so, and same with Buddha, same with Mohammed. There's all kinds of cult leaders. So let's look at this realistically. It's not that there's something bad going on. You said brainwash. So let's look at the ideals. Sometimes cults, or actually that is one characteristic of a cult, is that there are very strong ideas to the point where the members can get very attached and identified and invested in those ideas. Are those ideas good? Are those ideas bad? Well, that's a judgmental, that's a judgment that you may place on it, but we don't know for sure. So cults can be damaging when there is an attachment to strong ideas, and what that looks like is that the person now is walking around with a lot of confidence about this new strong idea that you probably haven't heard before, and you're wondering, why is that person so confident, like even arrogant about some of these ideas? Well, what's happening there is that they have a support system. They have a group of people supporting that idea. And then that's maybe what you're calling brainwash. The way I look at it is People have to go through what they have to go through. And that's what life is for. And people learn through having their life experience, and there's nothing we can do except for just love and appreciate our friends and our children, and just constantly be present and open to them. If they're entering into a damaging cult, then I've gone through it, and I kind of know what it's like. And sometimes you just need to allow them to have their experience, because they are getting fulfilled in some way, because it's something missing, and they need to experience that. See, there are opposites in this world. So there's, if there's an attachment to an extreme idea on one side, well, the other side is going to be hidden. So sometimes we need to explore this whole side first and realize the effect that it has on us. Then when you fully experience the effect, then, because I trust in life, that life is whole, not part. So life within time will swing us right back to the opposite side. And then we'll be kind of going like, well, what is true, this or this? This side of like invested energy into this idea, or the side that's been suppressed. So this is what we're navigating in our world, is what is true. So we need to spend time exploring these truths, which might end up being false. But that's okay. Like, people need to learn and have their own experience with things. They'll get disillusioned if the strong idea is not really in alignment with life, the fullness of life. Well, the other side of it is going to show up at some point. So I wouldn't really worry about these things. We're usually worried about our friends and our children because we don't want them to be hurt. I guess the worst case scenario is that they become, a cult leader that's drawing in all kinds of people and damaging them. Like there are we think cults are just something over there, but actually cults are right here in the middle of our society. It's right in your own family. Like a marriage can be a cult. A person, will decide within the marriage to divorce or separate. Why? Because there are symptoms of damaging cult effects going on. And some people leave severely damaged from being in that marriage. And other people leave saying, yeah, I've had enough, I've learned enough, I've gained what I needed to gain, and now it's time for me to move on. So there are these, there's a need for us to be part of a group or be part of a system or a group dynamic and learn our lessons and learn things within that group. But then there comes a point when we are fulfilled in that lesson, we need to actually separate. And there's a natural separation that will want to happen. Now, in an abusive relationship, that soul had to learn that. It needed to go that far before they got out. Now, hopefully we can help that person before they get severely damaged, because we don't want people to get damaged. We just want people to wake up. So enough pain to wake them up to get out. A healthy separation from a cult would just say, yeah, I've learned everything that I needed to learn. I am now going to individuate, which means I was part of the cult. I believed in the belief system, and now I'm going to leave the cult dynamic and start to integrate this knowledge into my life. That's a healthy exit. An unhealthy exit is that you've lost all your power. You've given it over to the cult leader or the husband or the wife, and you feel like a victim, and you've been traumatized by the whole thing. But as I say, there are very healthy exits as well, which means I've learned everything and I've decided to leave. And it's fine. I don't have any big problems with the group. It's just time for me to exercise my freedom and my personal voice and be a teacher of my own, or be my own individual thinking person. So yeah, there's so much about that. I have a lot of experience in that area. But I've just come to a place where life is our teacher, and these experiences in life are always good lessons. You may have had a bad experience, but that bad experience is a good thing to have, to create more discernment, to know what is healthy and what's not healthy. We need that. We need to live life fully and learn these things directly. And if your son is spiritual, then his soul will lead him there. And he may have some bad experiences, so-called bad. I don't call them bad. In the moment might be called bad because he's suffering, but ultimately we learn from all of that. So, yeah. What is a cult? A cult ultimately is a place where you learn something. And everything, everything in life. Your family is a cult. Where you have one leader creating damage to the children. That would be called a damaging cult. Not all families are cults in that sense. So it's a place where we learn lessons in a very strong. Yeah, I guess that's the quality of it. It's the cult has okay, this is one more big thing. Usually the powerful cults in our society have one important factor, and that's called Kundalini. And I guess this is why it's such an important thing to understand. This power that we have inherent in all of us. Sometimes people, as a cult leader, they are run by this Kundalini power. And if the cult leader is not fully integrated and is very charismatic and speaks with confidence about their connection with this higher power, or they have something special, then the Kundalini can turn out, it's just energy moving through their body in a powerful way. But if they're not purified in their nervous system, it can be that they are charismatic, but also a damaging cult leader. But you can have very positive, integrated cult leaders as well, with Kundalini fully integrated in their being, and so they understand it and they use it wisely. So that's another discernment that you would have to take before you worry about what a cult is and how damaging it might be. Because in the news, we've heard of the Jones cult and how there was a poisoning of all these people. But not all cults end up like that. So it's not a good idea to have a blanket idea of cult being negative. It's actually a very positive thing and very much needed in our society. So it's just a matter of how the individual navigates their cult experience. And that's it. That's what I'll say today about cults. Okay. See you next Wednesday. Bye.